Well, good morning. It's cold and it's wet. Like, I'm not exactly sure how much rain we got. I would say all of a quarter of an inch. There's water pooled over there. So, not fun. This is a very frustrating time of year with get up to 20 degrees in the afternoon. It'll be gross and wet in the morning. So you'll be like all damp and gross and lots of flu season, right? Lots of illnesses are starting to pop up again. So kind of everybody around here's had a bit of a runny nose or feeling a bit off. I wouldn't say we're sick, but we've been affected, I guess. I got new kicks. Actually, I didn't get new kicks, but Corey was in town yesterday and she's seen some size 10s on sale for $60, so she made a purchase. I'm grateful for that because I hate going to town, hate shopping, hate all that stuff. So if someone can buy me shoes, that's a win for me. Yesterday, we built lick tanks. So we got a shipment on Monday, Thanksgiving. So we got 12 of those 4-wheel tanks. There's 6 there in a stack, and then there's some in the shop. Also some 4-wheel tanks. First thing I'm going to do here today is fire up this telehandler, and I'm going to put it in the shop and change the oil in it. We'll see if it'll even start. It has it's been having a couple of fuel issues. I don't know exactly what this scoop is with it. So the other day when I fired it up, it actually just turned itself off like an hour into running. I thought it was out of fuel, so I filled it up, and that problem seemed to have gone away. I mean, right? That would have been step one, make sure there's fuel in it. And the fuel gauge does work. So, but then it happened a couple more times, and then it got really lethargic. It was like laboring around the yard. So I was just like, well, that's not good. So I don't know if it's not getting enough fuel, or if there's a bigger issue. We did buy fuel filters yesterday and also a fuel control valve. So one of the symptoms of it was cranking over for a long time before it started. So let's see if it starts right away. I don't understand. Oh, see, it didn't even stay. Well, that's not uncommon for diesel engines not to stay running. I'm not 100% sure, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the fuel filters, change the oil filter anyways. Change the oil. Then I'll run it for a little while, and if that problem isn't solved, then I'll change that fuel control valve. So we're basically done harvest. We do have the sunflowers to get, but that's not, whatever. That's just it. It's just what if we get them, we get them. If we don't, we'll just work them up. So that's gonna be I don't know, probably in a few days now because it's quite wet. I should move this ladder. It's always in my way when I step out to look and see if we're getting weather. And we are getting weather. Oh yeah, the other thing we did, we got all the spuds out of the garden. So once I get my telehandler oil changed and all the filters changed and that little solenoid changed, I'm going to bring my backhoe in, try to fix the brakes on that. So funny, I'm part of a Case 580 backhoe group on Facebook, and it is absolutely hilarious how much they talk about a few models either way of that, but that era and the 580C especially, how they had probably the worst brake system known to man. Like nobody's brakes work on those backhoes. It's almost unbelievable. To me, it's stuff like, how come, I realize things were laxed, in the 80s and the, late 70s, but you would have thought some engineer, some inspector or whatever would have came out and been like, hey man, we can't have junk like this in the mines and in the gravel pits and working for cities and stuff like that. Like someone's going to get hurt, but they didn't. They just let them build them and they were a piece of junk, and now the rest of us are cursed with them. But I did wheel these guys out. So these are the 4-wheel tanks. They hold about 250 gallons of molasses. Each wheel is good for about 25 heads, so they're 100 head tanks. We used to be able to get 2-wheel ones. I'm sure you can through maybe like another manufacturer, but you can't through these guys. Flexo-Hopper and Lethbridge, they could build the tank and they could build the lid, but they don't build the wheel and the bracket for the wheel. That comes from Texas. And our understanding is you can only get this bracket and this wheel. You can't get the smaller wheel and the bracket that goes on the smaller wheel, which is what you need to do a 2-wheel tank. If that just went through your brain and you thought like that is the dumbest thing in the world, yeah, I agree, but that's what they told us. And so we know without a doubt, basically the last 2-3 years have been a total write-off as far as getting any help or anything. Everything's been delayed and stuff like that. It's been getting progressively worse basically in the last 5 years, and it must have been at a slow decline even before that. I'm not exactly sure what the blame is. I have my own theory. I think that there's a total level of incompetence across basically the majority of the business at the desk, at the white collar level, because it's generally not the laborer who's running the machines and packaging up the wheels and or the filters or whatever you're looking for. It's generally not them that's making the decision on production. It's it's accountants and it's managers and it's VPs and it's these people at the top. And I really do believe there was a whole generation of people. I don't know if it was the education system that messed them up. Something got them, and it hammered their brains like right out of their heads. And unfortunately, we're at the time now where all of those people have reached the peak of their employment life. So they're at these elevated positions through, I guess, decades of wandering aimlessly through the job world, and now they find themselves promoted in here. So until they retire and they get out of the way, it's just, and we can put some more people in there that care, that give a shit, that want to make sure that shelves are stocked, that employees are happy, that quality control is up back to where it needs to be. We're gonna float here through this disaster. That's my theory. But well, old Loretta is draining her fluids here. I thought I should, just a second. It scared me because there's an oil drip back there now, but what happened is when I spun the oil filter off, it actually dropped because I give her the old Hercules with the strap wrench, and I just pulled hard on the wrench and let the strap spin it backwards, and it spun it like at 1,000 miles an hour, and it just flew off. So it spilt all the oil into the skid plate, and it's running over there. So don't be concerned. That's okay. That's an external drip, and we can handle those. It's the internal ones that we can't handle. Well, things were successful with the old telehandler, and I had so much success, in fact, that I pulled the old backhoe in here. So we did the master brake cylinders in it, and they didn't work like right off the bat. So I actually phoned up my buddy Jeremy. He's farming with treasures on YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel too. And I asked him a question about these master cylinders and in fact specific to this backhoe, if he'd ever dealt with them. He said no, but that's fine. Gave me some pointers and some things to look for. So I pulled them out, and like they're apart here now, and they'll never work again. So whatever. But we did keep the old ones. So one leaked, but they did work, and we threw them up there anyways. So the old ones, you go. They're whatever. There's obviously a spring in here, and this thing springs back. Well, the new ones, they didn't spring back, and because I'm a curious fella, I thought, well, let's figure out why they're not going to spring back. Of course, I don't know what's inside of these. I've never taken one apart. So I had it in my vise. I pulled out this snap ring, and what I was met with was this thing shoved way down inside there. So, me being me, I put my hand in front of it, and I put some air back to this side, completely unknowing that there was a massive spring in there under compression. So the first one I took apart, that spring is somewhere in Narnia, I think, because it's for the shop now. It went wherever it went, and it will never ever be found. I did pick up the rest of this shrapnel various places around the shop. The reason I actually took the second one apart was because I didn't even know what I was looking for. So when it blew out of there, it hit this toolbox and it went just wherever. So somewhere in this shop, I think, is a spring, and most likely that little black doodad there. So now my only option really will be to put the old ones back in, because I don't even know how this goes back together. I tried to take the other one apart, and well, it didn't come apart as easy as I thought it would. I don't know if these were like jobber things. Like, we bought them new. We didn't buy them from a wrecker, but see, that's all chewed up. This, whatever this black thing is, this one isn't so bad. But what I'm gonna try to do is make one out of two. Of course, now I got to take apart one of these old ones, and hopefully they're similar in design, so I can see how to put this thing back together. I'm gonna go in for supper right now, and just sort of put my life back together after that explosion. But very interesting nevertheless. I now know what is inside of a master cylinder and how they work. What I don't know is where the pieces were that were inside the one that I took off. So, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all on the next one. All right, no bullshit. I was just looking like all the way over there, because remember, it shot that way. And I just finished washing my hands. Here I'm walking out. I found it. So obviously that somehow went flying past past my face or behind my head. Still got the little black doodad on it. So if I can figure out how this goes back together, I think I have enough pieces to put it back together. So I'm gonna go in, have supper, look on the internet. I expect it's most likely gonna leak now, especially because of this one looking like that. But you know, whatever. Like, I don't know what would have got that. That wasn't me. No, I know that. And this one doesn't look that bad. So, whoops. So there was either something in this, like right out of the box, right? There was something gnarly in there, or there was, anyway, something happened. But hopefully we can put it back together with some amount of success, I guess. My biggest confusion is where these went. I don't know. It was on the top of this. So I don't know. I don't know. And then I think this went like that. Anyways, we'll see.